Guys, what's up? I'm Rhiana here today, and I am bringing you my summer book haul. Summer is practically over. We're slowly getting into the fall season, which I am so ready for fall. I love fall. But anyways, as I'm looking through all this stack, like looking at the stack of books, I'm like, holy crap. I thought I was doing good, and I didn't really do as good as I thought I was doing. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started with this book haul. So the first one I have here, let's just go ahead and get this over with. And that is 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. And before anyone asks, I have read it, and I once owned it, but since I own the rest of the series, I wanted the first book again. But me and my friend at the time had bought it together, and we shared a copy, and I had got the other two books, so I decided to go ahead and buy one for myself. I got this for only 75 cents at a used bookstore. Basically, the gist of this is we follow our main character, Anastasia Steele, and she meets this mysterious man named Christian Grey, who is like this huge business called Grey Enterprises, and he pretty much introduces her to this whole new world. And that's all I'm going to get into with this book. There's not much to go on about, and I really don't want to go on about it. So, the next book I have is Never Fade by Alexandra Bracken. I have the last book in the series in the hardback editions. I actually had the whole set, like the whole series in hardback editions. But like I moved 3 times, and I think I lost a set. So I've been trying to like recollect the hardback editions. So all I have left is The Darkest Minds. I totally blanked out on the storyline of The Darkest Minds, but I finally found the second copy in hardcover. So the next book I have, the Red Spools of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. Now this is kind of a companion novel, I would say, in a way, to the Shadowhunter series, also known as the Mortal Instruments series. We follow Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood, and they go on vacation, and you know it really isn't a vacation. They end up having to try to like stop this cult, I believe. And I am never gonna get sick and tired of Cassandra Clare books. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. What I have is The Rose and the Dyer by Renee Dahi, I want to say. I could have pronounced that wrong, and I probably did. So I was at Books A Million the other day actually when I bought this book, and I thought this was the first book in the series, and it turns out it's not. It's the second one, I believe, and I have never been so disappointed. But because I heard The Wrath and the Dawn is such a good like book, so I was like, oh hey, you know, well, I thought that this was the first book, but it's not, so I have it anyways, and I'm gonna buy the first one eventually. The next book I have is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Now, I bought the last 2 books in the trilogy a couple of years ago, I want to say. It could have been last year, or I think it's like 2 years ago almost, that I bought the last 2. And I've been trying to find the paperback for cheap because I've been looking at McKay's, and I finally found it actually, and in great condition, so that made it so much better. This book is about forbidden love, ancient and epic battle, and a hope for a world remade. And I've heard like Caddy-tastic loves this book, and I have been wanting to read this book forever, and I mean forever, and I finally have bought the first bok. The next 3 books I have are part of a huge and popular series, and that is Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, and Queen of Shadows, all by Sarah J. Maas. These 3 books are all part of the Throne of Glass series, and I have not read Throne of Glass yet, which is a shame, I know, because it's such a popular series. And I found all of these for like $5 a piece, and I thought that was a really good deal. I'm gonna give you a synopsis of Throne of Glass real quick. We follow our main protagonist, Selena, who is actually coming to win her freedom. And in order to do that, she must kill 23 killers, thieves, warriors in a competition. And so I believe there's like romance in it, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about the series. The book I have is Sadie by Courtney Summers. This book I've heard is just absolutely fantastic, and I have it on my Kindle, and I actually found this in the bargain book section at Books A Million for $5, which is pretty great because this book is originally $18 and it's still kind of a newer release. Our main protagonist, Sadie, whose sister was brutally murdered, And so she actually leaves the city, the town she lives in, and is hoping to find her sister's killer and get revenge on him, for her sister. So it just sounds so good. The next book I have is The Lovely Reckless by Cami Garcia. I love a girl named Frankie who is just dealing with her boyfriend's death. And she actually lives a very privileged life, and then that is just changed. She has to live with her dad, who's an undercover cop, and is now going to public school, and she meets Marco, who kind of just changes everything for her. And she finds out a secret about him, and she doesn't know whether or not she should just take the risk of being with him or not. So I'm excited to read it. Next book I have is Dividing Eden by Joelle Charbonneau. I butchered that. I know I did, so I am so sorry. Follow two twins, a brother and a sister, whose older brother is actually next in line to rule Eden, and that changes when the king and their older brother actually gets killed. But since they're twins, they are now the next successors, and now there's a trial of who will rule. And so it's just kind of a betrayal thing between brother and sister, and I can't wait to read it. The book I have is a 2019 release, which I've been so excited about because I also love this booktuber, one of my favorite booktubers out there, and that is Again But Better by Christine Riccio. And I am so excited to have this book, and I'm so proud of Christine because I know she's just so amazing and fun, and I just can't wait to read her own book, and I know it's going to be just as great as her. We follow our girl named Shane, and she is going to college, and it's basically her trying to step out of her bubble and step into a new world. And I am so in love with this book cover and in love with Christine. I just am so excited and ready to read this book because I know it's going to be amazing. Another book I've been waiting to buy and I've been excited to read as well is People Kill People by Ellen Hopkins. Ellen Hopkins is also one of my favorite authors besides Cassandra Clare. So this book is about 6 teens who live in Tucson, Arizona. They're brought into close contact in a town that is wrought with political, personal tensions. One person will shoot and one will die. So I'm very excited to read this book. I feel like it's really gonna be emotional, and you know, Ellen Hopkins is really good at that. The next book I have is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which I've heard from Haley in Bookland that this book is absolutely amazing. It's 2 sisters that have been separated because of World War II. World War II novels, they are so heart-wrenching most of the time, but they are usually so freaking amazing, and I'm excited to have this one. The next book I have is The Circle by Dave Eggers. We follow May, who is actually had this opportunity to work for this company called The Circle. She actually jumps on this opportunity to work for The Circle, and one day she has this very weird and strange encounter with one of the colleagues there. It just makes her question everything about The Circle. Now, I watched the movie. I didn't know it was the book at the time, and I enjoyed the movie, but I know the book is always better, so I decided to buy it, and I got it for really cheap too. So, the next book I have is The Mortal Engines by Philip Reeve. This, of course, is the movie tie-in. So this is about Hester Shaw, who is living on this traction city, and the traction city of London actually completely gets a hold of it, and she is stuck ending up with Tom, who is a apprenticeship at the London Museum, who's flung off the traction city, and now they are together, and they figure out that London may have something very evil planned that is harm to the world. The next 2 books I have are a duology, and that is Reboot Rebel by Amy Sincera. We follow Ren, who was shot 3 times in the chest and had came back to life 178 minutes later as a reboot. Come back stronger, and you become less human the more it happens, basically. One day she encounters this boy named Callum. He's just very human still, and she has only one more chance for him, or he will be eliminated. So it sounds really interesting. The next book I have that I actually didn't know was an actual thing is Snow Falling by Jane Gloriana Vinuela. The show Jane the Virgin is one of my favorite shows actually right now, and I'm on the last season, which is very sad because I don't want it to be over. This show is just really funny and I love Jane and it's just great. So anyways, in the show, Jane actually writes her own novel, the main protagonist in the show. And I found this at Barnes & Noble for like $4, and like I said, I didn't know it was a thing, and I think it's really cool that we have a story that like is from a show that she supposedly wrote. Basically, we follow a girl named Josephine who's caught in a love triangle between fiance Martin and her boss Rake. Final 3 books, guys. Final 3. The next book I have is The Beguiled by Thomas Cullinan. And I bought this at Barnes & Noble for $6, guys. This takes place in the Civil War, and this Union Army soldier found in the woods near a girls' seminary school. And as he gets there, he starts beguiling the 3 adults and 5 teenagers that are there. So I watched the movie. I didn't know how to feel about the movie, so I just wanted to give the book a try. And the next book I have is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. And I have been wanting to read a Colleen Hoover book forever because I've heard she's absolutely amazing. I've heard a lot of people rave about her and her books, so I finally have bought one, and here we are. We follow Lily, who, you know, she just comes from a small town in Maine. Now she's living in Boston and owns her own business, and there she meets a neurosurgeon named Ryle. And it just seems like her life is now too good to be true. And then, of course, it is her first love atlas that comes back into the picture, and I just freaking love books like this. I am trash for books like this.
Absolute trash.
The final book I have in my haul, yes, we are finally here to the final book, and that is Across the Universe by Beth Revis. I've been waiting to buy this book forever because I was debating about getting the cool hardback copies, and I just decided to just go with the paperback because I feel like because the hardback editions actually don't even match because they changed the covers. How stupid. Amy is a cryogenically frozen passenger on a ship called Godspeed. She left everyone behind, boyfriend, friends, and planet, just to join her parents as a member of the Project Ark ship. Before the scheduled landing of Godspeed happens, her chamber opens actually. She believes that someone actually tried to murder her, and now she's left with this boy named Elder, and she really would like to trust him, but she doesn't know if she can or not. But then she realizes that there's a lot of hidden secrets that they have to reveal about Godspeed. So I am excited. I bought this book for $3, so that's a steal. Thank you guys for watching. I will leave the total somewhere here, the grand total of how many books I have now, how many books I hauled. And I'll see you guys very soon with another video. Bye!